events, we've got the processes that we need to go through for that. So sort of including the risk assessments and that type of thing. And so Jim is going to come in and run everybody through the process for what you need to do for actually running your events across the summer. And then we'll have a look. I'll go through the dates and the things that are kind of planned for those. And then Danny's going to share a bit about the Guardian Angel film and give a bit of a sneak preview. And then, yeah, Kat and Caroline are going to talk about some of the Shark Trust initiatives, which are also going to be part of the action weekends. So that is going to be, yeah, quite a full evening for us. So I'll start off just by giving a really brief overview of the idea of the action weekends, and then we'll move on to Jim. So basically, we've got all of our marine champions signed up. We must be close to 70 now, Mary, with all of the folks that you've mentioned that have just joined up there. And we've had lots of these meetings over the winter while we've been kind of, getting things up and going. And now that we're sort of starting to kind of get into the spring and like the nicer weather, and everyone's thinking about getting back in the water and doing some diving, we want to think about getting out there and actually doing some of these activities, the beach cleans, the citizen science projects. And we want to think about getting clubs together, getting your own club together, meeting up with other clubs. And so what we've done is we've put together, there's 4 weekends across the summer where BSAC's really going to help promote these action days or Marine Champion action weekends, where we really want to get as many of the Marine Champion clubs as possible doing something on those weekends across the year. And that will be, obviously, it's fine to do activities on any of the other times throughout the year, but we want to kind of have a focus on these weekends, which will give us the opportunity to really promote them, to help you know what's happening at the same time, to share your events with each other. And it will help us to promote them through Scuba and promote what you're doing through like the BSAC blogs. And it also makes us, more effective for us to work with partners like the Shark Trust that are here this evening. So that's kind of a really brief overview of why we're running these action days and action weekends. But I know that I think Jim needs to come and then get off from the meeting. So I'm going to let him come in next and talk about the nuts and bolts of either running an action weekend or any of your other activity weekends through the summer. And then I'll pop back on and give a little bit more detail about the actual weekends.
Okay, thank you. So in this presentation, there's a number of links. Don't worry about trying to write them down. I'll drop them each into the chat afterwards. So this is just the background framework for when you're planning an event and where you find the resources to facilitate that. Hopefully you can all see the screen. And the key new thing is that we've put together a checklist to assist in the planning process. And the one thing I'd pull out from that is, Mary and Catherine have already talked about risk assessments. That if that makes you shiver with fear, don't worry, because a key part of it is that in order to complete that risk assessment, it should either be conducted by or if you're the organizer but you don't have dive leader or another appropriate qualification that includes risk assessment. So in snorkeling terms, that would be snorkel dive manager or snorkel guide would have those skills. Then you should team up with somebody in your club to help provide that advice and support whilst you're going through the process. And then in terms of risk assessment, I'm sure most of you will already have seen the risk assessment guidance on the website. So it talks about how you do a risk assessment. It gives you a blank form to work with, but it also gives you some outline guidance on how to do risk assessments for pool, sheltered water, and more importantly, open water risk assessment. And the new thing on there as of this afternoon is that checklist that I've just shown you now appears at the bottom of that page. So it's a direct link to download that checklist. And if there are any amendments made to that checklist, it will appear there and replace the existing one. And then in terms of when you're organising an event, there's a form now live on the website that collects all of the key information to initiate the process, but you need to have done your risk assessment and upload a copy to that. And we say we need at least a month in advance of the event, so you need to plan this far ahead for an event in the summer, and that's it to enable feedback. And it's risk assessment when you submit it is not pass fail. There is an iterative process that follows on from that, which will normally be done with you, either by me or Sophie. And we work with you to highlight the areas that you need to consider and how you can enhance your risk assessment to keep everybody safe on the day. And then we need time to notify the insurers and for them to come back with approval. Once all that's, there's one point on that which I haven't highlighted, is that it asks you to make a decision on whether or not it's just going to be people from your club or people that you know, or you're going to open it up to other BSAC members. And if you open it up to other BSAC members, then once you've given us all of the details, we will make this form live for your particular event to allow us to collect the information and share with you people that are interested in joining your event. That's it. Simples, they say.
Brilliant, Jim. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think you said you were going to make the share those links around afterwards, and
yeah, I'll drop them in the chat for this meeting. But
yeah,
but I'm happy to take any questions if people have any. I'm sure they haven't. It was
there's one in the chat already, actually. Oh, actually, Sarah's got her hand up, so I'll let her ask it herself.
Sorry, I planned a river litter pit. It's not an underwater pit. We're just going to be walking along and picking by the river.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got that in for 11th of April, so I better get a move on. But do I still need to do a risk assessment?
Yes.
I'm assuming I do.
Yes.
For insurance purposes.
Yeah. It's just to make sure, and that iterative process is probably the most useful thing. What I would suggest, if you've got time tomorrow morning or on Friday, is give me a call.
Yes, I could. Tomorrow would be better.
Right. I've got meetings tomorrow afternoon, but tomorrow morning I'm free.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Will you put your number in the chat?
I'll drop my office number in the chat as well.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we forward the links as well as in the chat. We'll forward them after the meeting as well, and the follow-up for the meeting. Mary?
Yes, thanks, Catherine. Yeah, I was just going to say, Jim, is it all right? Sandra's offered to send this all out tomorrow. Would that be all right, Jim? And just get you to check it first, and then Sandra can send it around to the Marine Champs, the link, so they've all got it. Is that okay? Yeah, bro. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sandra.
Excellent. Jim's dropped his number in there, so thank you.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah, excellent. I'm not sure if you're staying on the call or if you're heading off, Jim. But if there are any other questions that come up in the chat, we can either ask those later and get those back, or if you're still on, we can get you to see if you can pick those up. So,
there's a question from Alison, Jim.
Yeah, the guidance is that if the event is exactly the same as you've done previously, then yes, your original risk assessment will do. I would advise, just for belt and braces, if nothing else, is that you just drop the same risk assessment with the date of your event, and then I can, if it's this time next year, it's keeping the insurers up to date. So you still need to let us know the dates of your event. it's better if you can just drop your risk assessment in with it as well, rather than saying it's the same as last year.
Yeah, that's useful.
Thank you. Excellent. So probably we'll move on now to a little bit of detail about the action weekends. So are they on the same slides that just came up, Mary, or shall I share the slides myself? I wasn't quite sure how they've been loaded.
Yeah, no, they're not up. So I think you've got them, haven't you? You're right to put them up.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they were all on a so hopefully they're coming up.
Yet.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they're up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so the aim of these action weekends is we've put some of these activities here to kind of focus on and really sort of generate the interest and drive the participation to some of these projects. Some of them are BSAC projects and some of them are some partnership projects, which we'll talk about. And I say we're really lucky to have the Sharp Trust here to talk about their initiatives as well. But all of them have been chosen because they are really sort of inclusive in terms of they can be scuba diving activities, but they can also be snorkeling activities. And actually a lot of them have got elements that can be done, on the beach, not even in the water. So there's a lot of opportunity to be as inclusive as possible in terms of, getting as many of the club members involved as possible. So the core activities that we've got on the list there, so litter pick, obviously litter removal at the top there, and that could be the beach litter removal or an underwater litter pick. It's not going as far as like the ghost gear removal, because that's really quite a specific thing that needs like sort of specific qualifications and training. And we can again link the advice that's on the BSAC webpage at the moment in terms of litter removal, in terms of if people have got questions in terms of what's an underwater litter pick, what's the sort of stuff that's kind of maybe should be more left aside for ghost fishing. So we've got litter removal as one of the activities. We've got the Operation Oyster. So it'll have been a couple of months back now that Andy Hunt came and spoke at one of these. He's one of the founders of the Operation Oyster survey, and that's looking for basically native oysters anywhere around the coast, and they were once incredibly abundant around this area of the Northeast Atlantic and around the UK. And basically in the 1800s, we ate all of them. And now there's hardly any left at all. And they're actually really important parts of the ecosystem and really important for filtering the water, cleaning the water, improving the vis of the water. And so actually, any time that you find native oysters on a dive is a really, really valuable thing. So Operation Oyster is all about sort of logging those, recording those. And there's lots of information now on the Marine Champions section of the BSAC website, and also the link to the presentation that Andy did. Also, he obviously gave a really good overview and some videos and things about Operation Oyster. So that's a really nice one that people can get involved with. You can find oysters on the beach at low tide. You can find them snorkeling. You can find them stuck to wrecks, in quite deep waters. So again, quite a broad spectrum of being able to get involved with the oysters. Then there's the Great Seagrass Survey. So there's another presentation that Eric, the founder of the Great Seagrass Survey, did for us. So there's another presentation recording that we can look up. And also he came and spoke at the Marine Champions meetup at the dive show. So some people might have seen that. And again, all of the information about how to do the seagrass surveying is on the Marine Champions website. But seagrass is another really important habitat that we've got around the UK coasts, and one that we know that's under threat, and one that we're losing, and one that we also don't really have that much data about the actual current distribution of seagrass right now. So this is you can do the Great Seagrass Survey at a couple of different levels, just logging whether or not you find seagrass, or you can look at mapping the extent of the bed and the size of the bed, or you can get sort of a bit more involved if you want to get your quadrats out and find out more variables about the health of the seagrass, how many shoots per square metre there are, whether it's producing flowers and seeds and that type of thing. All of that information, again, is on the Great Seagrass Survey section on the website. Then we've also got some invasive species removal days. Mary's actually been along to one of these, because these are Clynpaddarn. I apologise to anyone who's Welsh, but in North Wales, and it's removing freshwater invasive species from the lake there to, you know, help support the native species that are in there and being choked out by the invasive species. So because it's quite a special and protected area, there's certain days that those are being that those invasive species days are happening. They are actually on slightly different times to the Marine Champion weekends, but I'll show you the times for all of those coming up, and you can sign up for those through the BSAC website. We're also then partnering with the Wildlife Trust National Marine Week, which is actually a fortnight long, and that's encouraging people to get into the water. And I think what we'll be asking you to do there, maybe with your clubs, is actually look at potentially arranging tri dives or guided snorkels for people, but we're just finalising the details for that. And then really excited to have the Shark Trust here, who are going to tell us about some of the really exciting Sharkscape and Ray projects that they're running that you can get involved with, again on the action weekends, or, you know, throughout the year. And again, like the other projects, some of those can be conducted on the beach whilst you're doing your beach cleans. Some of those, you know, you can participate in snorkeling or in scuba diving. So there's kind of quite a range of things to do there. And then in terms of the dates for the diaries, you can see the dates at the top there for the invasive species removal. So they're quite like sort of specific days that have already been pre-organised, and you can sign up for those on the websites. And then the action weekends there, we've got one in May, one in July, one in August, and one in September. And that would be fantastic if everybody was organising, you know, some form of action across all of those weekends. Would be absolutely brilliant. And then I'm sure Kat and Caroline are going to tell you a little bit more about the Great Shark Snapshot Week. So that's the 18th to 26th of July. And they can correct me if I've got that wrong. So they'll give you a little bit more detail about that. But that's a really good week to kind of focus on getting some of those underwater pictures that you're going to hear about. And then also we've got the dates for the Wildlife Trust's National Marine Week / Fortnight on there as well. So that's another date that you can pop in your diaries. Okay, I'm gonna, I think, finish sharing my screen there. So Helen says you couldn't see the dates. Did they not come up?
They only did just right at the end then. I think when you were talking through, they weren't, the slide hadn't come up.
Just to
there we go.
confirm,
Someone's got a screen grab.
yeah,
A very brief second.
Catherine and everybody, just to confirm, all of the dates have been sent out, I think 2 or 3 times now on the invite for this evening, and Sandra can send them out again when we send out the update on risk assessments, etc. But I mean, you can put the slide up again now, Catherine, if you want, but they are on this, actually on this invite as well as an agenda list.
And so there's a screen grab. Anna's popped a screen grab in the chat as well, so you can go and pick that up as well. Alison shared the National Invasive and Non-Native Species Week, which is another thing that's kind of happening sort of outside of these weekends, but another like initiative that's going on that's really interesting. And maybe so if there's any other questions about the weekends, you can pop those in the chat. I'm really excited to see how many things people are going to be doing, to actually, you know, see people getting together and getting out there and actually like making a difference and doing things. And BSAC's really excited about that as well, and really excited to support that. So there's going to be loads of opportunities if you share what you're doing and share the photos of what you're doing. There's going to be loads of opportunities for that to be in Scuba magazine, and for BSAC to be, you know, promoting your events either beforehand or sharing what you've done afterwards. So I'm really excited to see that, because it will be really nice for, you know, the wider membership to be inspired by all of the activities that you're doing, and hopefully want to join in and do more things themselves as well.
Catherine, sorry, there's just There is a question, well, not a question, there's a comment from Alison just in chat, saying that invasive species removal is something that needs to be done really carefully so as not to spread the invasive species. So yes, so the weekends that we are running, so they're online, they're in events on Sport 80. And that the dates were also attached to this email, the invite. They are those ones. We are very careful with what we're doing. Everything's cleared very carefully. Everything's washed down at where we are because there's showers provided. So I think if you are doing invasive species removal, then, again, as part of your risk assessment, you can put that in and we can offer a bit of advice on how to do that if there's a particular area that you want to do over your Marine Champ Action Weekend. So we can help with that as well and give some guidance on what to do. But I don't know, Catherine, if there's any questions or any ideas from people.
Well, there's Andy Hunt is offering to buy anyone a drink if they find a remnant native oyster reef. So I'd recommend taking him up on that. And then also, actually, thank you, Andy. He's dropped in some links to that Check Clean Dry initiative as well. And there's some really useful information on the webpage. Because to be honest, that's something that really we want to be doing when we're doing any in the water events as well. There's a risk, particularly if we're moving around and diving one site and then diving another site. It's really good to make sure that, we're not the cause of spreading invasive species.
And I've had an email from one of our marine champs that couldn't make this evening, but they're inland and they are doing a murder mystery night based on marine champs and marine ID. So that sounds quite interesting.
That
and she's happy.
Really cool.
Yeah, she's happy to share it. So I'll see if I can get hold of that and share that.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. And then obviously, we can, if you've got any questions about weekends or, ideas or whatever, then you can email us as well after the meeting. But Pat's been working really hard at updating the Marine Champions section on the website now. So there should be links to all of the different projects and how to get involved and all of the resources and things on there. So that's excellent. I'm hoping that when you start telling us about your weekends, we'll also be able to pop those up onto the map as well, so we can see everything's happening. Someone's going to have a Marine Champion themed murder mystery now at their AGM. Nice, like that.
Anna, I'll put you in touch. And you can you can share notes on the game that she's put together.
Don't share who did it though, Mary.
No. Brilliant, love it.
I think we've probably got through most of those questions for that. So I think, shall we move on to Danny with the Guardian Angel film, because he's got some really interesting stuff to share. And I know Kat and Caroline have got some really interesting stuff to share about the Shark Trust as well. So over to you, Danny.
Cool. Hello.
Hey.
Everyone can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
It's always one of those sort of trepidous moments where you first start thinking, oh God, is it all working? I don't know. How long have we been using these softwares now? I was really cool, really cool to hear everything you were saying, Catherine, because it's already got my brain whirling around thinking about how this film that I'm going to talk to you guys briefly about today may be able to play a role in some of that. So I'm already sat there spinning with different ideas that we can have to talk about at some point. Let me try and get my share screen going. Excuse me. Always the most terrifying part of all these presentations is, will it actually work? Here we go. So far, so good. Hopefully, there we go. Look at that. Oh,
yay!
Yay! Brilliant. There we go. So yes, my name's Danny Copeland. Some of you might have, if you were at the dive show, you might have seen this already. So apologies if you were there. Or then again, you get maybe a second chance to see what this is all about. So like a lot of you, the ocean's played a huge role in my life for the last 17, 18 years now. My British sort of diving journey started with BSAC back in 2011, and it's yeah, a lot of what I've done since then has been professionally, and in my free time has been involved in trying to find ways to help protect it. Another passion of mine is sort of storytelling, and storytelling specifically through film. And I really strongly believe that the right film with the right people that it resonates with has the power to, as cheesy as it sounds, change the world, even if it's just some small corner of it. And so naturally, about several years ago, when we were all kind of going through the really bleak times of the pandemic, I started thinking about ways I could try and combine these different interests, filmmaking, conservation, scuba diving, and try and sort of channel it in some kind of positive project that I could focus my attention on, despite all the bleakness that was going on. And that's how I ended up meeting now one of my close friends, Jake. Jake Davies, who some of you will probably know, might even be good friends with him. It's a small world. He shares a lot of the same passions as me and as many of you. He loves diving, he loves conservation. He also loves filming underwater life and sharing it with people, divers and non-divers alike. He also really enjoys running up like crazy hills and things, or just running up Snowdonia, up Snowdon, at like 4 a.m. on a Sunday for no reason. So that's not a particular passion I share with him, but otherwise we're really similar people. When I came to meet Jake, I learned that he was involved in an unfolding story at the time. The kind of sort of like fascinating, cool, wild, slightly silly, just wholesome kind of stories, the sort of ones that you sort of tell at the pub at the end of a diving day, the ones where everyone sort of can't help but kind of gather around and sort of listen in on, and just kind of reminds you why we all sort of do this, what we all kind of love about it. And I really knew at the time that it was a story that kind of needed or deserved to be told. And so fast forward 4 years now, crikey, that's a long time. And starting at the dive show and now here with you guys, I've basically got to a stage where we're ready to start showing some of what we've been working on in all that time. Hence this name here, Guardian Angel. This is the film that we've been working on. It's not a finished film. I'm going to put the caveat out right there. We're starting the ball rolling early in terms of getting people interested in it and seeing if we can plan things to sort of play a bigger role with the film. We're going to be editing it over the coming months. Or continuing to edit it over the coming months. And yeah, you guys are basically some of the, apart from the folks at the dive show, you're some of the first folks to see any of this. So what's the story all about? What's this film all about? How does it involve Jake? Well, it basically all kind of starts with a rumor from several years ago. There was a rumor that one of the world's rarest and most critically endangered sharks may still be sheltering in Welsh waters. And that news captured the attention of a passionate local scuba diver. And so this film that we called Guardian Angel, it follows Jake as he journeys beneath the waves in the hope of becoming the first person to ever film one in British waters, and crucially with it, encourage others to redefine their relationship with our local seas. So with that, I'm going to play a 9-minute preview of basically the start of the film, and I'd love to hear your thoughts at some point and what you think about it. There we go. Thank you very much. Always feels a bit weird, kind of like actually sharing it out there after you spend so many dozens of hours making these things in the background or in a basement or something. So I wanted to maybe sort of finish off by talking a little bit about what why we're doing this, what it's all for, and ideally, hopefully, how maybe some of you guys can kind of get involved and be a part of it. So apart from why am I making this film? Aside from just the enjoyment of telling a cool story, which is a very cool goal and purpose in its own right. Well, really, I guess our main goal is that I want the film to meaningfully support the conservation of angel sharks, predominantly in Wales, but frankly also just widely across the UK and maybe even in Ireland as well. I say Wales mostly because of just trying to be a bit realistic with the resources that I have available, but I'd love for this to go, sort of nationwide, really. How am I going to try and achieve that goal? Well, I've got kind of two kind of main objectives, really. The first one is I want the film to play a role in helping fill in some of the data gaps that we have for these sharks. As the guys at the Shark Trust will attest, and I'm sure that many of you as divers already know, in order to protect or conserve a species effectively, you have to have some really fundamental basic information about it, like how many there are, where do they feed, where do they breed, how do they move around the waters in your country. If you don't have this basic information, it's really difficult to put in sort of long-term meaningful management measures to ensure that these animals are around for generations to come. And with angel sharks, we're starting to get some hints, but there are lots of big gaps, both in Wales and then frankly around the rest of the UK as well. Trying to go through and dig up all that information, as again, I'm sure the guys at Sharks Trust will testify, is really laborious, really hard work. But then at the same time, there's something quite cool about how, and quite universal about how films pull people together into one shared space to share and enjoy a story. And that's one of the main things I feel here. I feel that films can help play a role in bringing people together around a common cause, around a common effort. So I very much want to use the film to help try and achieve that. And then the second goal, a bit more holistic, and definitely probably one that's especially relevant to you guys, although both goals are, is I just want to use the film to engage more people, particularly the unconverted, the non-vitamin C addicts amongst us, to engage more with our local seas, and at the very least, encourage them to have a bit of a perspective shift and not just see our seas as cold, dark, green, full of shopping trolleys and stuff like that. There's so much awesome marine life and amazing things on our own shores that are worth protecting. You don't have to always fly overseas to try and find, an amazing chunk of ocean worth seeing. So that's normally where I finish my sort of presentation at a dive show. I thought I've got a few more sort of details to maybe share with you guys. This is currently what the rough plan is looking like. I say rough. This is definitely going to probably shift and evolve and change. We're obviously still editing the film, still kind of creating it, so it's not ready to kind of go out there just yet. But we'd love to get to a stage where we're maybe releasing a trailer in World Oceans Week, maybe even World Oceans Day, and then have this kind of phase between June and September where we try and push and promote the film, particularly in Wales. So I've kind of lined up basically a tour of independent Welsh cinemas around the entire Welsh coastline. I would love to be able to take this to the wider UK. That's going to be, I will see what I can do in terms of trying to get other resources to make that possible. I'd love to obviously possibly do like a virtual screening for like a special one-off kind of event if we can't go beyond the coastline of Wales. And then probably say fast forward to roughly this time next year. I'd love to be able to start doing a bit of a shift in the phase. Rather than going through cinemas and things, it's more community screenings, bringing the film to settings, to the kind of people that we want to see and enjoy this story. So I've just sort of started laying out some sort of ideas or sort of ways that I feel that maybe that you guys might be able to get involved if you want to. I kind of like grouped them broadly into the kind of the two goals, and then also just the overarching goal of promoting the film in an effort to help the other two goals. I guess I don't want to necessarily parrot all these out in front of you. You guys can see, but I mean, in the short term, for sure, let me know if you guys would like to be involved in your capacity as Marine Champions for BSAC. It's a great start, so I know who wants to actually lend a hand. We may be looking at sort of launching some kind of crowdfunding campaign or fundraising effort using this sneak peek that you guys have seen to the wider public. And again, if we're not going down that route, it would be wonderful to have your help in championing this amongst your dive clubs and communities, and then also the wider communities you're in at large. In terms of the shark data gaps, oh, there you go. Thank you, Melanie. Already got one person who's keen, wants to help out. In terms of the shark data gaps, for sure, I said this on the dive show stage, is that there are probably tons of SD cards in dusty drawers with dusty hard drives from divers much more mature than me, who may well have actually surprising records of either these sharks or other particularly important or endangered elasmobranch species around the UK. So we're trying to be someone on the ground that can help pull these out of some of the other divers that you have in your clubs is definitely a very tangible way of helping. But also helping us on the ground when we really start to launch this kind of film. I'm thinking, for example, fishmongers and anglers have an enormous role to play in helping us fill in these shark data gaps. I know the guys at Shark Trust are already involved with tons of them. Maybe helping to have this film be a tool to bring them to the table, to start a conversation, to facilitate those sort of things. That's one of the ways I'm thinking of using the film. So being boots on the ground, to go to some of these places, go to some of these groups of people, anglers, tackle shops, fishmongers. I can do a lot for myself from a phone, but there's something different about actually going in person, right? And meeting folks and getting them involved. In terms of the, as I call it, engaging the unconverted with the UKCs, I think this is particularly where you guys, this film lends itself to what you guys are already going to be doing with your Marine Action Days, both this year, well, probably more likely next year. But community screenings. I imagine this idea of if a cohort of people could help bring this film to, say, 5 primary schools or secondary schools in their local community to play this film, you do the maths, right? All of a sudden we're getting to hundreds of schools and thousands of people, and how awesome is that? I also want, obviously, the film to serve as a really accessible tool and a bit of a springboard to help uptake in onward activities that some of the folks on this call are doing. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Some of you guys are doing amazing, awesome things already. Can the film be used to help draw even more eyes and attention to the stuff we're doing from outside of the existing dive and ocean loving community? Again, hence why I said, can you use the film as a tool within your own events? Marine Action Days, Uni Freshers Week, membership drives, pushes for try divers, whenever you do these throughout the year. I think this film could help play a role when it's ready. And I'm very, very open to hearing other ideas as well. I'm seeing some folks are probably popping off some ideas in the comments there. But I'd really love to hear from you, because at the moment, this is mostly just me knocking my head around, trying to think of different ways to utilize this. So with that in mind, I just want to wrap up. I don't want to take up all the time. I've just got a little QR code on there. I've just got grown this mailing list here. If you do that, I'll know you've come from this particular call as well, so I'll know that you're one of the Marine champions. This is probably one of the most easy ways for me to be able to keep in touch with you, or you guys to at least be able to be aware of what I'm saying with the project and where it's at. But if you also have specific ideas you want to just shout out, either this evening or after we close the call, my email's on screen as well. Please do feel free to grab a screenshot of this and reach out. But yeah, otherwise, that's all I have to show for you this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed it, of course. Also, feedback on the film itself is very welcome as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about this sort of next year as we kind of slowly build up to release the film towards the end of this year, and then all the exciting things that will come thereafter as well. So who am I handing the mic over to?
I can pick that up, Danny. Thank you
so
much. Yeah, that was a really beautiful introduction to the film, and really inspiring to hear the story behind it. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing it with us. And I can't wait to see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing all the rest of it. Fabulous. There's a couple of comments that have come in. Mary, do you want to jump in first?
Yeah, Danny, I was just going to say, thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Danny. I absolutely love the film, as you know. And it's great. You've got some really good engagement here. So I'm just sort of, I'd have a look at what everybody's saying. There's quite a lot, Catherine. So we can, I think if people use your code, then that would be great. But also we can somehow or other get some of this out of the chat for you as well, so that you've got some of the ideas, but then I'm sure people will contact you directly as well, because there's some really good ones already just from here.
Yeah. I've got to start frantically copying and pasting into a chat, into a little notepad, so I can make sure I see them.
You could take a photo on your phone. That's what I do when I'm in these meetings and I can't get them down quickly enough. You could just take pictures of them. Yeah, but there's the Ocean Film Festival.
Yes, absolutely.
National Trust and Wildlife Trust running films in their properties. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
So I've definitely got the Ocean Film Festival in mind already. They have particular timelines with when they want to accept films and then when they then play it, and their timeline would mean that probably the earliest would be able to get them into their festival, assuming they like the film enough to want to show it, right? I don't want to assume. Will probably not be until autumn next year, 2027 October time. And I'm like, I don't want to wait until then. We got to get it out and do things. Got 2 summers to play with between now and then. So but they're definitely on the radar, and for sure other film festivals as well. Like I'm sat here thinking, normally films go through this kind of iterative lifespan where they try and go to film festivals first, and then they start to go into cinemas and all that sort of jazz. And it's cool if your main goal is to, I don't know, be a big successful commercial Hollywood film, but that's not necessarily that's not our goals here. Our goals are very conservation oriented, and so we will probably get into film festivals on a bit of an ad hoc kind of basis, but I'm not relying on that. If it gets into a film festival in Cardiff, for example, or London, that's a bonus. But that's why we're kind of trying to organise that film tour in Wales, and I really would be keen to try and see if there's enough interest to do even a handful of screenings across England as well, and and beyond, and Scotland as well.
I think there will be. Yeah, I think
see.
there will be. Yeah, the Marine Champs will help you, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and also thank you for sort of highlighting how potentially the film could work with the Marine Champion goals as well. So like you highlighted there, maybe you can arrange some form of showing or trailer at the action weekends and things, and that's brilliant. And I'm sure I can see the engagement now with people following the QR code, so I'm sure there'll be lots of other ideas like coming through to you as well. So fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you.
I'll stop sharing my screen, get it off as well. Bosh, there we go. And I'll also just pop my email in the chat as well, just so it's there in case people want to grab that.
Excellent. So that's also the perfect time then to segue across to Caroline, and Kat, I think, has joined from the Shark
Hello,
Trust.
yes.
Yes, hi, brilliant. Who can tell us more about now going out? I am like fully inspired to go out and look for shark skates and rays now, so bring it on.
Excellent.
Thank you, and thank you, Danny. That was a perfect setup for shark skates and rays in our glorious British waters. So yeah, we're carrying on with the shark theme tonight. So I've got some slides as well, switching between screens. So hopefully you can see a nice picture of a short film maker on your screen there, rather than all of your faces looking back at you as well. So yeah, Caroline and myself are both from the Shark Trust. I'm the Senior Conservation Officer there. I lead the Community Engagement Programme. Caroline is our Marketing Manager, as well as a very avid diver and fantastic photographer and underwater videographer as well. So I think between us, hopefully we can do a good job of selling British waters for shark skates and rays, but you're obviously a converted audience already. So at the Shark Trust, for those of you who aren't as familiar with our work, I won't go into too much depth because we have quite a broad scope that we cover with quite a small team. So we do have quite a large footprint given our size. But essentially, our key focuses are around achieving effective fisheries management, ensuring that species that need additional protection, like the angel shark that's critically endangered, that they have kind of appropriate conservation measures in place. And so a lot of our work is geared around kind of policy and advocacy for ensuring that the management and the conservation levels are right. And then where I come in, it's also the community engagement side. So we run a series of citizen science initiatives where we encourage people such as yourselves. My screen's going to move along. There we go. So that's what we're here to talk about today, is to ask you all as divers, snorkelers, beach goers, marine champions, is to get involved with some of those projects. Some of you may have already been involved in the past. If so, thank you very much, and please keep it up. If they're not projects you've heard of or they're not projects you've engaged in, hopefully we can help convince you otherwise. So these are some of our key projects there: the Shark Log, the Great Egg Case Hunt, and the Basking Shark Project. In British waters, again, Danny, with help from Jake and Joe in that film, have done a great job of showcasing some of the species that we've got. We've got around 40 species in British waters. It depends how far out you go in your boundary and how deep you go as well. But we've got some of the largest species like the basking shark. We've got some of the most endangered species like the angel shark, like the poor beagle. We've got the fastest shark, the short-fin mako. We've got blue sharks, which are seasonal visitors, which do transatlantic migrations between the UK and the US each year. We've got some deeper water species like the Greenland shark, some that might just be passing through, like the kite fin shark. We've got the smooth hammerhead, which is on there based on a head washing up on a beach once. So very, very kind of tenuous, unlikely to see, but it has been reported. And then some of the inshore residents, like the cat sharks, the small spotted cat shark and the nurse hound there, and then the smooth hounds as well, and the taupe. So we have a whole variety of sharks. And then we also have a selection of skates and rays as well, which are their flatter cousins. For British waters, I largely don't get too excited about the ones on the left there. This guide covers the Northeast Atlantic as well, where giant devil rays and eagle rays have been sighted, but so far none in British waters yet. But if you see them, let us know for sure. And we've got a bit of a confusion with the names skates and rays. All of these species shown on screen are all rays, but some of them are skates. The skates are the live bearing ones, but here in the UK, we seem to switch between them. So we've got the spotted rays, the blonde rays, the thornback rays. They're all technically skates. So you can insert the word skate there and have thornback skate, blonde ray, blonde skate. And it's the same individual, just a bit of confusion. So today, we're going to focus in on the egg-laying species, the oviparous species, and it's actually quite a high percentage. So 44% of sharks, skates, rays, chimeras are actually egg-laying. They all fall within these 13 families and 5 orders. So for the UK ones, that's our cat sharks, our skates. We do have chimeras, but we've never had what chimera case reported to the Great Egg Case Hunt from a beach find. And then we've got horn sharks and carpet sharks as well in some slightly warmer locations around the world. And just as a very brief summary, won't go into too much depth now, but in terms of what happens inside those egg cases, you have a single yolk sac, usually. There are a couple of species, like the big skate, where you might have 5 embryos in a single capsule, but usually there is just one for most species. And then this kind of little blob, this little embryo starts feeding off of that yolk sac. And as the embryo gets bigger, the yolk sac gets smaller. So same as with a chicken's egg, and it will keep absorbing all of the nutrients. There'll be slits along the egg case where all of the waste comes out and the fresh oxygenated water comes in. And then when they get to the point where they're almost bursting out of that capsule, then they'll appear as a perfectly formed miniature little baby shark. Sorry to get that earworm in your head. And this can vary in terms of length of time. It can be kind of 5 to 12 months or so, depending on species. So they're in there for quite a long time whilst they're developing. And then that's where the first project and the main one we're going to talk about tonight comes in, and that's the Great Egg Case Hunt. So for this project, we established it in 2003. So it's been going well over 20 years now. And in the last probably 5 years, it's really gathered momentum. And we've had about 50,000 egg cases reported each year fairly consistently. So we've kind of spent ages chasing do you think we could get to 500,000? And now we're already on 600,000 and we blink and it's gone up. And in fact, last year, with our end of year report, we had just 3 days of the whole year where we didn't have a single egg case reported, and that stat amongst anything else just I find insane. The project's based around 4 key actions. So we've got search, identify, record and discover as the key things that we want people to do as part of this project. The first step is the arguably the easiest one, if you have access to a beach, that is, and you can get out there, and that's to go on the beach and to search for egg cases. So they can be found all year round. When they wash up, might not necessarily indicate they've just been freshly laid. They could have been lying empty on the seabed for some time before kind of the storms or waves, currents bring them ashore. And the best place to look is amongst the seaweed in the strand line, towards the back of the beach, because they're so light when they're empty, they get blown back there, in the grass and the sand dunes, taking care of kind of fragile ecosystems. And generally after stormy weather is a great time to look. So actually spring and autumn, we tend to see the most finds reported to us, obviously after the storm's passed and it's safe to do so. And we encourage that you just have a check to make sure the egg case is definitely empty. You can quite often feel how light it is, or you can hold it up to the light and be able to see through it. If they're slightly damp, then you can kind of squeeze them a bit between the horns or the tendrils, and you'll be able to see if there's an opening and there's nothing inside. If it does have something inside, we advise you put it back in the water if possible, slightly kind of anchored down to stop it from washing in again. So that's if you're searching on the beach. If you're searching in the water, which we'd love for you all to get involved with, then we've got the cat shark egg cases. So largely it's going to be the small spotted cat shark and the nurse hound. The black-mouthed cat shark, a bit of a deeper water species, so you're not as likely to find that by snorkeling or diving. And those two species both have curled tendrils where the female will she'll swim around a clump of seaweed or some kind of object, and those tendrils will almost act like string and unravel and tie it in a knot onto that. They're often seen quite close to shore. There's often snorkeling sites where you can see them on a low tide. So of the very few underwater egg cases that we get recorded for the Great Egg Case Hunt, they're mostly going to be cat shark ones. The skates, on the other hand, they have a pointed horn on each corner, which can help anchor them down. They tend to be a bit kind of mucousy, which helps attract the sand and kind of weigh them down, and they can be much harder to find. So hence we need more help, and we need to do a bit more of a push on getting people to help record these underwater egg cases, as that's a definitive kind of marker on where these important egg laying nursery grounds actually are. The records we get through the Great Egg Case Hunt is fantastic, and these records build to become really valuable information, but we still don't know necessarily. You might find 100 egg cases wash up in this location, but what about the habitat? Where is that, and what does that look like? So it helps us kind of do a bit of backtracking in terms of where they're from. Once you've done your searching, the next step is to identify. There's Jake on here as well in the bottom picture, just to showcase Jake again. Once you've found your egg cases, you need to take a look at what you've got. So you can look closely at the shape. If it's kind of elongated, looks a bit like a bowling pin, it's from a cat shark. If they're squarer or more rectangular with a horn on each corner, it's a skate. And then the horn shark, the kind of corkscrew shape, the carpet sharks are more rounded, and the chimera is a spindle. But like I said, less likely to see those ones here. Then different features like the horns, the tendrils, the keels, and then the sizes as well. But we have lots of different resources that can help you with that. So this is our key egg case ID guide. We've had that translated into Welsh with our involvement with Project Shark, and we've got step-by-step ID keys as well. So you're not on your own to go through this process. Globally, if you're taking this beyond the UK, we've got ID guides across Europe and Mediterranean, like in Spain, in Greece. We've got them in Arabic, we've got Portuguese, we've got some resources for Australia, and then for the US as well. So we're kind of spreading out in terms of our ID guides. So anywhere you go, please do keep an eye out for some of these egg cases. The final step to record your finds. So we've got an online recording form. You can upload it through, or we've got a dedicated citizen science app. If you're an Android user, then apologies, it does seem to be riddled with bugs at the minute, which we're trying to work our way through, but we are having some issues, which hopefully will get sorted soon. Some of the key things to include, so we asked for location information, which you can do a pin on the map. We ask for you to identify it to species, but if you can't figure out what it is, you can record it as an unknown or don't know. So then we can look at the photos and work that out. And then there's an option for some notes as well. What we would ask is under organisation, if you can include BSAC in your club number, then we can keep a tally of what's being recorded by who, and we can set up a bit of a scoreboard as well. I don't know if you're all competitive people, but we can pit you against each other and see who's finding the most underwater egg cases and beach finds as well, so linked nicely in with your Marine Champion theme for litter picking. It's useful to know how many people are searching. So one person might record those finds, but was that 4 people in the water looking, 10 people on a beach looking? It's useful for us to just have an understanding of how many people have been involved. And then photos, we ask if you can, if it's a beach find, that they're laid out fairly neatly so we can just check species and count. If it's in the water, then obviously taking the photo without disturbing the egg case with as much detail as possible is fantastic to help us with ID. We've got a lot of these resources in, you're all obviously Marine Champions. We've got our egg case champions as well, who are a dedicated kind of egg case hunters. And we've got this guide which we created, which features videos, and it features lots of information about egg laying sharks, skates and rays, about the videos linked through to search, identify and record. There's hints and tips in there. It links through to all of our resources. There's some tips if you're planning on organising your own event. You can read through that. So I mean, all of these resources we can make available to yourselves, Catherine and Mary, if you're able to share them, and I think we can get them linked to as well via the website. So the next thing as well I wanted to go over is the final step, which is discover. So we've got all of our result pages up on our website now, and you can take a look through. That front page tells you how many egg cases we've had recorded and how many records that is. So one record might be 10 egg cases. And then you can filter through and have a look at what species have been found, select your region. If it's been verified, means we've seen a photo or some kind of evidence for it. You can choose whether it's underwater or not, select your date range, and then you've got the map, which you'll be able to zoom in on and have a play around, see what's been found in your region, and see if you can find any gaps in the coastline where you might be able to fill and offer some more information. That's just zooming in where we are down in Plymouth, and on a site that I know of where we've got nurse hounds that are laying fairly regularly in a sheltered channel down there. We produce an annual report each year and over Easter as well, where we kind of get all of the key facts within that. And within that, we show the egg case hotspots. So these are some of the areas where we've got consistent reporters. And then we've got the top reporting organisations and individuals included in there as well. So we'd like to feature more on underwater to find here as well. So again, if you include BSAC in the organisation name, then we can make sure people are represented on there. And all of this helps tie into identifying these important shark and ray areas where we know these reproductive areas are important for these species. So I just wanted to flag quickly some of the species that you might be likely to find, might be able to find, and what they might look like. So thornback ray is one of the more commonly found species, and that's the most commonly found skate egg case that we get for the great egg case hunt. This is a photo of one underwater, so you can see why they might be quite challenging to try and find. This one's on kind of a silty seabed, very, very covered, very, very hidden. So it can be challenging to find, to say the least. So we get very few skate egg cases, but if we can increase them, that would be fantastic. This is the small-eyed ray with those beautiful intricate patterns. And this one's kind of just posted beneath a shelf, so looks a bit more obvious if you happen to be looking under the right bit at the right time. Then you may see one like that. The spotted ray, I couldn't actually find an egg case that we've had submitted from an underwater find, so this is a beach spent one. We've got the blonde ray, which the blonde ray and the spotted ray look fairly similar. If you notice the spotted ray, the spots don't actually go to the edge of the wingtips, whereas for the blonde ray, the spots go all the way to the edge. And again, I didn't have an underwater find for you, but this one's quite a nice example of how big they can be and what they look like for the egg cases. For the undulate ray, these have got beautiful, this photo doesn't showcase properly the beautiful patterns that these ones have, but this is a south coast species in usually, and that egg case, you can see it's attracted lots of detritus, lots of seaweed. It kind of, don't know how you can tell, but it's got a bit of a mucousy webbing over the top, which will help attract all of that and weigh it down. And then the cuckoo ray, that image hasn't come up very clearly, but it's got eye spots on each wing, and it's quite a small species. And that one's got really long upper horns, which curve around towards each other. It's a bit more of a deeper water species, so I think you're less likely to see that egg case whilst diving. And then we've got the flapper skate. If you happen to be heading up to Orkney or anywhere on the west coast of Scotland, then it's worth keeping an eye out for these. There's some areas which have these spectacular egg-laying grounds where they just look like they're littered across the rock. And this is a critically endangered species you're not finding anywhere else. Moving on to the sharks, we've got the nurse hound, which is kind of quite the more robust kind of the two cat shark species with that kind of goldeny amber eye. And their egg cases, I just wanted to show some different images. When they're freshly laid, they look really, really shiny, and they almost, if you're on a bit of a dive with poor vis, they really do kind of light up like a beacon because you suddenly see something shiny. Whereas after a few months, they start to get a bit more warm with algae and some coverage on them, and they get a bit more camouflage. And And then we've got its the smaller cousin, the small spotted cat shark, which lays a very similar looking egg case, but they are just that little bit smaller, but still that vase kind of bowling pin shape. So that's it for kind of the underwater egg cases. Just touching on some of our other projects very briefly. Appreciate we're running low on time, but we've got the shark log sightings database, where we encourage for any sharkscape ray sightings anywhere in the UK and Ireland across the world, you can submit those individuals through this project. So again, via the website or via the app. We've had records from over 30 countries so far, and that's around 4,500 records globally, which makes up about 15,500 individuals. And for the UK, that's 670 records and 2,000 individuals. So we've kind of got the flip here. For the Great Egg Case Hunt, about 97% of our records are actually from the UK. And for this one, you can see far fewer sightings come through to us from right where we live. Tied in with that, Catherine mentioned earlier on, we've got the Great Shark Snapshot, which is a 1-week census, covers 2 weekends though, so from the 18th to the 26th of July this year. And the intention of that is just to get out and try and record as many different species as you can. So we're still working on the promotion for that, but hopefully you'll start hearing about that one a bit more soon, and hopefully we can beat last year's numbers. So last year we had about 1,000 sharks and rays from around 450 people, 40 species and 13 countries. We did have reports from the British Isles, but as you'll see from the top recorders, didn't make it into the top list on there, and likewise for the species. So it would be great to change that this year if you have got dives planned on either one of those weekends. And then the Basking Shark project we've got, which ties in with Shark Blog as well, but just focuses on this one species. So second largest fish in the world, the largest that we get in the UK and Ireland. And we've seen huge change in their movement. So our database has around 65,000 individuals within it, but we have seen this change, to see from those maps where we did have a bit of a hotspots historically with the southwest of England, the Isle of Man, the Hebrides and the north coast of Ireland. And then we've since seen this change, and you can see in that last map from 2017 to 2024, they look like they've completely disappeared, but actually they're all over in Ireland. The last 4 or 5 years, there's been huge number of reports from Ireland, and very little from elsewhere. I think we had about 70 sharks last year alone that we had recorded, and that was 63 from UK and Ireland. We had some from South Africa and from other regions. So we've seen a real shift in their movement. So we especially would like to hear about those if you do see any basking sharks. So that was a bit of a whistle-stop tour through our citizen science initiatives, especially those last ones. But it's a plea really, and a bit of a challenge from us, in that we would love to try and increase our number of underwater egg case submissions. In particular, at present, based on our database of 600,000 egg cases, the underwater records are 0.7%. So it's incredibly low. If we can get it up to 1%, it would be an increase. Even more than that would be fantastic. So our challenge to you all really is to get out there and try and find as many egg cases as you can, whether on the beach, whether in the water. To dig through your logbooks again, as Danny kind of encouraged earlier on. If you've got kind of finds in your logbooks that you haven't got out of there, and you can submit them, if you've still got date and location information, then that would be fantastic. And just to try and get involved in more of these projects would be fantastic, please. Thank you so much for having us on to talk about this more today.
Brilliant, Kat. Thank you so much. That was, yeah, really, really interesting to hear about all those different species, particularly the ones so locally. And yeah, I'm so excited to get involved with all of the different projects that you said. So I'm really hoping that, yeah, super inspiring, and I'm hoping lots of other people on the call have been inspired to get involved with those projects. Fantastic. There's been comments coming through in the chat as well, where people have been engaged. Someone's suggesting organising an Easter egg case hunt, which quite will be.
Yeah, that's a key time of year for us. So we tend to do an Easter report that spans kind of the Easter holidays, rather than just necessarily the one Easter weekend. But I mean, the project's kind of set up that we've designed it. We've got all of these resources, and then we set it free, so we encourage people to go out and do their own thing and have ad hoc ones. Or if there's organisations, wildlife trusts will quite often pick it up. We're engaged with a lot of the regional wildlife trusts, and if they're doing events, then Easter egg case hunts are always a popular one. So yeah, we always encourage going to try and find an Easter egg case as well as a chocolate egg.
Fab, thank you. There's also Mel saying that she really loved your presentation, thank you, and asking about whether there'd be a possibility to have a copy of it, or to show with club members, or maybe, I don't know whether there's opportunities to for speaking on it.
Drop us a line and we can either send it over, or we can do a recording of it if that's helpful as well. If Caroline or I are in the area anywhere, we could pop in. Caroline, I know you've done some club talks before.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's feasible, then I love coming and talking about all of this to clubs in person. So it's just a question of logistics.
Brilliant, thanks. Yeah, Mary said we can put it on the website, and actually if we're putting a recording of this webinar on the website, it will be kind of included in that as well, won't it? Kind of scoot through, so yeah, that would be good. Brilliant, thank you so much. Mary, have you got any questions?
No, just thank you, Kat and Caroline, and Danny. It's really inspiring. So I think we're all thinking what we're going to do over Easter for you and get out there. It's like, oh my gosh, just want the weather to get a bit better, and I think we'll all be out there. So thank you so much as well, giving up your time in the evening. And I think if we can get this out on our website, and then I know Kat and Caroline and Marine Champions, we will be launching our sort of our partnership with Shark Trust, so we can get lots more involvement from BSAC members for you, and obviously our Marine Champs over our action weekends as well specifically. So really looking forward to that. So thank you.
That'd be brilliant, thank you. And don't forget to say as well, if you do have images of any of these of egg cases or sharks and rays that you'd be willing to share as well, then we're always on an image hunt as well, because we do get so few through. And the only other, I will read through the comments and I can come back with some, but I've just seen the one about Sea Search as well pop up from Luke. We have spoken to Sea Search previously, and I have got their data set they've recently sent over to me. I think they're going through some changes at the moment, but they have sent me over their most recent database. So we've got that to include. So actually that would probably push us over the 1% mark. So yeah, we have been chatting to them.
And I have to say, Kat, your artwork's beautiful. Whoever designed it, it's absolutely lovely. It's
thank you.
really engaging and bright. It's lovely. Yeah.
All of the egg cases, every egg case has got their own expression.
Yes, I love it.
And the cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Someone said that in Spain that one of their club members saw 40 angel sharks on a dive.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
You need to go and film out there next, Daniel, don't you?
won't be quite the same hunt though, will it?
No, exactly. Makes it too easy then.
Yeah, they might be hunting him, I think. Yeah, 40 of them.
Once upon a time, we looked for a shark and we found it straight away. The end.
Yeah. Yes.
I would say for this, it's the Canary Islands that kicked all this work off for angel sharks, because it was always thought to be the last stronghold for that species. So we developed an angel shark conservation strategy for the Canary Islands particularly, and then suddenly we started going, oh, there's these records coming through from Wales and actually the Mediterranean and in this region. So it's definitely helped give a platform. But yeah, there you'd be surprised to think they're critically endangered, because you can see so many on a dive, but 40 is impressive.
Wow, that's amazing. So we're coming to the end of the session. So just want to say another thank you to everyone that's spoken. There's been some really inspiring stuff there, some really useful information from Jim at the beginning. So yeah, I'm hoping everybody is really inspired to go out and do things, and also get your club on one of these or all of these sort of exciting, they all feel like treasure hunts, looking for just like treasures and special species in the ocean, don't they? So I really love that. I think maybe just to finish off, I'll hand back to Mary just to mention like the next meeting and just reiterate how we'll share the links and things afterwards.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Catherine. So I think our next Marine Champion evening is the 15th of April. And we're thinking that one will be just to talk about, to engage with all of you on your action weekends and to start hearing about what you're thinking about doing. And then we have had a thought that you might want a bit of a break, certainly through a couple of months while you're out kind of doing, because the weather hopefully will be better, and the evenings we should all be out doing things and all these different activities, and perhaps don't want to do one of these on a nice summer's evening, but we will if you want to. So I think but let's do the one on the 15th of April, and we'll send out an invite, we'll send out an agenda nearer the time, and then we can decide what you all want to do. But it would be great for that one, I think, Catherine, we were saying, if people came with some ideas for your kind of marine action weekends, because by then it will be about a month out. And I know that one of the things that one of the aspects to the risk assessments is that if we're going to get busy and Jim does all of them, it would be great to get them into Jim, in plenty of time. So they're coming up in May, aren't they? I think our first one. So be really useful. Sandra and I will talk about how to get all of this information out to you all. It will go on our website as well. And then, you've got all of our emails. So, of course, just keep emailing and asking questions. You've got Daniel's, and I think you've probably got Kat and Caroline's. But we will be kind of launching some of these partnerships with everybody to try and keep everything alive for everybody and keep a really busy summer. And let's go for kind of a record for Shark Trust and for Daniel with spotting angel sharks, and sort of see how we all do. So I'm not sure if there's any more questions or anything anybody wants to say, apart from thank you so much to Kat, to Caroline, to Daniel, and to Catherine as well for chairing us and for always giving us your time. We're very appreciative of your volunteering, Catherine, as our chair. Well, thank you.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I was just going to say there's some really positive comments for all of the speakers in the chat. So yeah, just reiterating, thank you guys. That was really excellent. Yeah, look forward to hearing about it, what everyone's getting up to, and seeing everyone next month.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Daniel, are you happy? Oh, he's gone.
Did you want me to ask if he's happy for us to, because it kind of, he'll have his film.
Yeah, I wonder if we should cut his film bit out of the recording. I think it should be, like, I reckon Pat will be able to do that. I don't think it's too hard or Ollie, in terms of video editing. And we should maybe just let him know that we'll do that, because it isn't behind a login or anything. So it would get,
I'll do that.
That was really cool.
Wasn't it?
I really enjoyed. Yeah, it was all amazing, to be fair. Everyone was also very engaging.
Yes, it's been really moving forward, Freya. I think it's this last 5 weeks, really, Catherine, hasn't it? It's just really gained momentum.
That's really good, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got 70 marine champions now, and they're all really. Yeah, I think they're all. And the dive show was good, wasn't it, Catherine? They were like really engaged. It's good, Freya. It's going to be. I think it's
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's suddenly, and then I think the summer with everything, and we're all going to try and get together. Got so many weekends coming up, Freya. It's busy.
Be interesting. Maybe we can get Monty Hall on one of them as well. He's set up now as well. That would be fun. But yeah, there were some really engaging speakers. That's probably like the best feedback we've had in the chats during the meetings. So maybe that's kind of something going forward, that actually getting some engaging speakers is kind of we've kind of given them the nuts and bolts of what they need to do.
It was really inspiring, wasn't it? And I think when we could look at the wildlife trusts as well, couldn't we? Because but for possibly for the one next time, because actually we'll be looking at, by then we'll be we will have launched the kind of the partnerships, and so that might be one for them to talk about what they're doing. But these guys were really inspiring. They'll be difficult to beat, I think.
Yeah.
God.
Well, we haven't got to do it again for a while.
No.
Maybe we can get Andy Talbot to one.
Well, I did wonder
then
about
Backshaw, Mary Backshaw.
Yes. Yeah. But
special Christmas treat.
Yeah. Christmas treat. Andy Talbot is really engaging because he's a motivational speaker. So I wonder if we could say to him, could you come and do a motivational talk before we all go off out? Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
I do.
Right. We could ask. Yeah.
Or, show some stuff about him doing something, or No, I think, because like you said, he would be an engaging speaker. And
really would.
Probably getting that inspiration is kind of what we want. So
we
should have we should make a little like chart of potential speakers and potential like slots to put them into as well. Kind of useful, maybe.
I think Freya's coming on the invasive species one in March, aren't you, Freya?
Yes, I'm coming on the 21st. I don't know what I've signed up for. So what have I signed up for, Mary?
So you're helping. We've got 42
God.
divers bringing up invasive species. So Freya, you and me are carrying them. So we've got paddle boarders that bring it in, and then we go and have to dump it. We have to carry it and dump it in one area.
That's
where we're the rubbish ladies.
We're the rubbish ladies. But also, Freya, you're welcome to snorkel if you want, or dive.
I'll bring my stuff. I haven't dived for about a year, so I don't dive. Never know what tents to use. I don't think I'd be confident doing that. But I'll bring my stuff anyway, and I'll just see what's over on the day. Yeah,
we could snorkel, but I mean it's probably quite cold still, but if we could even go in for a bit. But
I think I need to dig out my wetsuit because I think Mother stole it from the last Wild Swim you all went on. So
yeah, she did. Yeah. So you need to get that back. But and then pictures, a bit of social media. So it's really, again, that's going well. We've had to extend our license for the amount of people wanting, and that's got universities coming. We've got Lancashire, we've got Liverpool.
Oh, brilliant.
I know, we could end up just doing all this and nothing else. But so that'll be fun. So we'll do that one, and then we've got a bit of a break as well on those. But I think they've got things going a bit as well.
Yeah, definitely. People are keen to sort of get forward sort of now as the weather gets nicer and things. So yeah.
Be interesting what people start coming forward with in terms of like it looked like there was a form, like a register your thing in your risk assessment form. So it'd be interesting to see who starts coming forward.
Yes, and I think and hopefully this will have inspired people to just think about different things.
Yeah.
So and Sandra, I'll talk to Sandra about how we get all of this out. We'll put an email together.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information in there, so that'll be a really useful one to.
Yep. That's where it's a shame, because Ali would have been useful because she could have done the comms on this, but it's fine. We can do it. It's just not quite as pretty, but actually people just want the information, don't they?
Yeah. Is it still a question of getting because Catherine, I got your email about sort of being just a member and then there being another student person.
Yeah.
Are you still on the hunt?
We haven't actually followed up looking for a student at all, have we? Okay. I was thinking about that. So yes, if you know anyone.
Okay, I think I know. I'll see if would it matter if if they're BSAC or not? Yes. Really, because I think I have a few friends that are Paddy, but I can sort of wheedle out the ones who are BSAC if I ask around.
They do need to be BSAC members.
They could be a snorkel member, couldn't they? Which isn't
okay.
Yeah, they could be a snorkel member, or Yeah, or BSAC trained, I suppose.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it's a BSAC initiative.
Yeah, I'll let you know if
BSAC.
I'll let you know if I'm successful.
Yes, just something to do with BSAC. Yeah, I think that maybe not a paid up member, but yeah, I think so.
Okay, no problem.
Because we might be sitting on the crown jewels here. It could start really taking off, and then I know it's feeling like it's on the verge of becoming a full-time job, isn't it? For all of us. Oh my God, I know. I know. I was watching it thinking, oh God, it's gonna take off. Yeah. So it's good, though. It's really good. Yeah. So we'll but it's good that obviously the egg hunt one coming up. It's great that we've got them. They're ready made, aren't they? So we can just link to their portal and go for it. Yeah.
And people can go out and start doing that now as well. They can sort of do an egg case hunt even if they're not organising an event, so they can go away from this and be inspired. And
Yes. Yeah, brilliant.
Nice.
Cool. Good. Well, thank you, Catherine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you back, Freya.
Thank you.
Nice to have you back, Freya.
Back. Yeah.
Lovely shark evening for you then. Your favourite, aren't they, sharks? It's nice.
I love. They are my favourite. So yeah. Will I see Catherine? Will I see you on the 21st or not? On the invasive.
The invasive species.
Yeah.
No, because it's quite far for me. So
no problem. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
no
if you've got
problem.
40 other people coming as well.
Yeah, no problem. All right, I'll see you. I'll see you then, Mary. Anyway, I might see you in between. I'm not too sure what's going on, but all good.
I'll try and see you before then.
I did send out a message to see whether there's any appetite from the committee for a catch-up, I think on the 23rd. I've not really had many takers, to be honest. I thought they might want to kind of hear about what was happening with Main Champions. I've kind of shared it. So, yeah, unless there's a lot of take-up, we don't need to spend a meeting talking about what we've already talked about. So,
no,
but I wanted everyone to feel that they weren't not involved. But
yeah,
it sounds like we probably won't need to do that necessarily. There's not loads of takers.
No, because they could come along to this as well, couldn't they? Each,
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Helen comes. I don't think Ed's come to
Him. No, I think it's fine, Catherine. We're doing enough if you think it is, but let's see.
No,
let's see
I wanted people to have the option if they wanted to, but they don't really seem to be too bothered. So
never mind.
No, nobody wants an extra Zoom, do they? Let's face
hard.
it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you then.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Enjoy your invasive species day. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll send you some pictures, Catherine.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.